The Sun Belt with some Power 5 wins. It's Locked On Sun Belt.
You are Locked On Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz back with another edition of Locked On Sun Belt, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right, we will go over the baseball wins. Big for Coastal Carolina, hanging on at Chapel Hill. ODU hosting Virginia, and they take down, the Cavaliers. Cajuns slide by Southeastern. We'll go over that. Cajun Softball fell short to LSU, and the spring transfer portal opens. Tough to tell who was in it before and who's in it now, although we do have some names that were reported out there. We'll see if we can break that down a little bit. But let's start off with the Power 5 wins in the Sun Belt on Tuesday night, right? Yeah, Tuesday night. You had Coastal Carolina, who'd had a 4-1 lead over Carolina. I got that here somewhere. And they have to hang on for a 5-4 lead. And again, not following either one of these teams nearly as closely as maybe I should be. You don't know who's pitching and midweek guys. And, Carolina, with all due respect, well, let's see, the Coastal Carolina game does not hurt them, but they're concentrating on ACC, and they want to get some midweek guys in there as well. As all teams do, you want to give the weekend guys a break and see who can hit and what the future is going to be like and all that stuff. So we know that. But Coastal Carolina does take a 4-0 lead after 2. Let's see what happened here. Mijos had a single, drove into Antonacci. He also had an RBI, and it appears they stole a run, if you will, with the runner leaving from first and the runner coming home from third as Carolina threw. Is that right? Yeah, I guess that's right. Threw down a second. Okay. So Coastal makes it a 4-0 ball game, but here comes Carolina. Runs in the third, runs in the sixth, run in the seventh, run in the eighth. And then it's a 4-4 ball game in the ninth. I was too late when I put it on. I thought I could rewind it, but you can't. And unfortunately, they had one on and 2 out. And then Arabai, the Coastal shortstop, opened up the gate just a little bit, putting runners on at first and third, then a walk. And the bases were loaded. And I think it was the backup catcher, Haskin, ends up striking out. So Coastal hangs on for a 5-4 win. Now, right after the game, there didn't seem to be much of a change in the Warren Nolan instant RPI. Let's see if it changed here afterwards. Oh, Coastal did. Coastal went up 6 spots. So it took a minute or two, or in this case, an hour. So they went up 6 spots because Carolina was 5 and they dropped to 6. So that's a nice win for Coastal Carolina, moving up from 22 to 16. All right. So that's a good job there. All right. Also, Old Dominion takes down Virginia. Old Dominion also built a 4-0 lead, 3 in the first, 1 in the second. And actually, they had a 7-1 lead until the 9th. And Virginia scores 3 in the 9th to make it a game. But Old Dominion hangs on for a 7-4 win over Virginia. Let's see where Virginia was at the beginning of the night, because they were actually 9th. My nephew, Sam, and my brother and his family went to the Louisville, Virginia series last week. They saw Louisville beat Virginia. Louisville not having a good year. But Virginia drops down. So they were 9. Let's see where ODU was. ODU popped from 58 to 50. So they get in the top 50. They move up 8 spots. And remember, this is all, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I'm a little bit past my bedtime these days, but 10 o'clock Central on a Tuesday night. So Old Dominion moves up to 50, despite being only 19 and 17 overall. Their strength of schedule is 4. Their strength of schedule is 4th in the country. But when something like that happens, as far as I know, right, you get the basis. Your strength of schedule increases and changes. And so when an Old Dominion takes down Virginia, that helps somebody like the Cajuns, who actually moved up 4 spots overall. They had dropped to 57, but they moved up to 53, probably because, among others, ODU won, among others. All right. Cajuns with a win over Southeastern. This game not as close as the score would indicate, 15-8. It was a 12-1 ball game, and in fact, it was a 14-2 ball game before Southeastern got something going in the 7th that forced it to go 9 instead of 7 innings. Cajuns bats were smoking hot. John Taylor, 2 for 3 with a home run, 3-run home run. He drove in the 3. Trey LaFleur didn't even start, and he drove in 5 with a double and a home run. Kyle DeBarge, he had 2 doubles, or he had 3 base hits, scored 2 runs. Connor Higgs had 3 doubles off of, I believe, 3 different pitchers, and or maybe 3 different pitchers and a walk. And so he had a big ball game. Cajuns bats struggled this past weekend. They scored more runs in the 7-run second than they did all weekend against Marshall. Same 2 teams do it again tonight back here in Lafayette. Let's see if we can go over the Cajuns again. Moved up from 55 to 53 RPI wise, and I think a lot of that is probably not necessarily beating Southeastern. I think it's sweeping ODU and ODU beating Virginia, I think. All right, let's check out the rest of the Sun Belt schedule, see what we have. Also, I didn't realize Kennesaw State has a pretty good RPI. That's a me problem, right? As it turns out. That's a me problem. They're like 35. All right, let's see here. Tuesday, the 16th. Texas State takes down Incarnate Word 10-8. Georgia State with a nice win over, as I mentioned, Kennesaw State 5-4. Let's quickly see if they moved up, where they ended up moving up. They moved up 7 spots from 76 to 69. All right. Thought they may have been a little bit higher, but apparently not. So nice win for the Panthers. App State falls to Western Carolina, 10-5. Morehead State over Marshall, 7-2. Louisiana Tech beats ULM 6-2. And Southern Miss, I believe, with a huge 9th inning, like 4 runs in the 9th, takes down Nichols 9-6. Nico Mazza, the Friday night starter, maybe bullpen day, he ends up getting the win, coming in relief. We did have Ole Miss and Arkansas State. That was rained out, unfortunately, and I believe Troy beat Samford tonight 10-8. Let me see those stats. Let me see. Coming, not coming. A little slow. But I think that I was right. All right. So Troy beats Samford 10-8. So a good night overall for the Sun Belt, baseball-wise, and especially the 2 wins over the Power 5 teams, helping out Coastal, helping out ODU, and for the most part, looking at the bigger picture, helping out the rest of the conference as well. And that, should get, the blood going for the Cajuns, going out to Coastal, playing a top 20 RPI team. Their blood would be pumped up anyways. They don't need that ranking to take on Coastal, that's for sure. All right, let's take a time out. We'll check out what happened in softball on Tuesday. Cajuns fall to LSU. We will do that after I tell you about Monopoly Go, and Lafayette Travel. We've all been there, either as a player or a fan. It's halftime and the scoreboard is not looking good. You're feeling low, not sure you or your team can pull out a win. That's when you dig deep. Lift your head up and say to yourself, time to get back in the game. Pull off some bank heists and take as much of my friends' money as I possibly can. That's right. The smash hit mobile game, Monopoly Go, lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but on your phone, anytime, with tons of new twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. There's so much to do. Play on countless dynamic Monopoly boards. Make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball. Charge other players for rent for your iconic properties. You can even work with your friends to crack open community chests and in tournaments to get extra rewards and climb the leaderboard. So get back out there, put on your game face, and download Monopoly Go now for free on the App Store or Google Play. And Lafayette Travel. Escape to Lafayette, Louisiana, the happiest city in America, where every visit is uniquely seasoned with unforgettable experiences. Savor world-class cuisine, including mouth-watering boudin, savory gumbo, and piping hot crawfish, seasoned to perfection. Experience lively festivals that celebrate Lafayette's one-of-a-kind heritage. Explore magnificent trails that lead you through a rich cultural history and breathtaking natural beauty. Discover the untouched purity of our cypress and tupelo swamps, where you can paddle past nesting birds and sunbathing alligators. Immerse yourself in the vibrant rhythms of Cajun and Zydeco music that can be heard any night of the week. Whether your passion is for our rich cultural history, the bustling culinary scene, or the distinctive blend of Cajun and Zydeco music, the happiest city in America has something for everyone. Start planning your adventure at LafayetteTravel.com/seasoned. The Festival International is coming up at the end of the month, a couple weeks. It's a really good time. It's mostly free, at least the music is, and I suggest you check it out if you are in the area or thinking about coming by. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Cajun Softball comes up short 4-2 to LSU. I had some connectivity issues throughout the day, and even before I could get the game on, the Cajuns were up 2-0. Lainey Crater, who has been on fire, she actually was leading off against Texas State over the weekend and was just on base the whole weekend. She has a 2-run home run that puts the Cajuns up 2-0. Cajuns get out of it some really good defense. LSU scores on a base hit to left, but Maddie Hayden throws a runner out going from first to third, and so it keeps it a 2-1 ball game. And then LSU had runners on at second and third in the second inning and only score a 1 run. Alexa Langoliers throws a runner out at the plate. LSU does tie it up. They make it 2-2. LSU gets a big base hit and a Cajuns throwing error in the fourth, and that's the 2 runs that they get. Cajuns had a shot. They had runners on in the sixth, and a little bit of a bad break. I'm not sure if it's that big of a deal. Langoliers was on at first, and the right fielder for LSU actually running in to catch a ball. It ends up being fair, but she drops it. She forces Langoliers out at second base. So a bad break for the Cajuns. I'm not sure it matters. It still would have been the same amount of outs and a runner on at first. But the Cajuns did get 2 runners on, and I think Elistad bounced out to second. And the Cajuns had their shot. We'll see. They get Nichols, I guess, tonight. And I'm not sure who the Cajuns have this weekend. I kind of have lost track of that. They should be at home with a baseball team heading to Coastal. I don't think they've been around here for a little bit, about a minute or two. Let's see what they got. I guess they have Nichols here tomorrow, but we'll be at this baseball game. Let's see here. Texas State, LSU, Nichols, and then Southern Miss is coming to town, so we can cover that this weekend. And then LSU returns a favor on Tuesday, and we'll probably have to get to that game early. because the LSU brass will take our seats. All right, let's check out what else happened softball wise. It wasn't exactly a full slate of games. Let's see if we got that here. Softball schedule. Let's see. Let's see. Tuesday, James Madison over Longwood actually sweeps the doubleheader 10-8 and 8-2. And Georgia Tech takes down Georgia State 5-4 in Atlanta. Of course, it's either going to be a Georgia State or Georgia Tech, but it's going to be in Atlanta. And a tough loss for Georgia State. Panthers led 4-0 heading into the 6th. Georgia Tech scores 3 in the 6th and 2 in the 7th. As Georgia State falls 5-4. So that's a little bit rough for that case. Let's see. Is there any good softball series this week? Let me see the standings before I open them out. So you got Texas State is second, and Troy is third, along with ULM, South Alabama, and South Alabama. Okay, so let's find out. Let's see who's playing in this. Let's see what this schedule is here. Sports softball schedule. Let's see what we got here. This weekend, you do have Troy against Georgia Southern on the road. Marshall's hosting Coastal. James Madison at App. South Alabama, big series against Georgia State, but I think isn't Georgia State towards the bottom? Is that what I saw yesterday? Yeah, Georgia State's towards the bottom. So you would think that, or is at the bottom. So you would think that South Alabama will take care of business there. Southern Miss heading here to Lafayette and Texas State. There's the big series. Texas State taking on ULM in Monroe. Texas State salvaging the Sunday game against the Cajuns, losing 2 out of 3. And ULM, I think, is basically surprising everybody with what is going on. I mean, they have a shot, with a series win, they would end up tying Texas State for second place, depending on what Troy does this weekend. So I presume the Cajuns will continue to roll. They've taken on Southern Miss. Southern Miss, a 500 club, 20-20 overall, and 8-7 in the Sun Belt. So that's about as 500 as you can get. All right, let's take one more timeout. When we come back, we'll talk transfer portal in the Sun Belt. And again, a little bit tough to tell without seeing. Maybe I'll check it out on 3 because it's tough to say. Jeremy Harper does a great job, but kind of listing everybody. Anyway, let's do that when we come back. Let me tell you about Yahoo Finance. Wouldn't it be great if you could see all of your investment and retirement accounts in one place? With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to tend to your entire portfolio with confidence. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. They're the number one finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst rankings, ratings, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. Secure, link your brokerage accounts to a unified view of your wealth, including 401k and other investments. Comprehensive perspective is what sets apart great investors, and it's how Yahoo Finance ensures you have the insight to look at your wealth in its entirety. With a community of over 90 million users each month, their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com. The number one financial destination, yahoofinance.com. That's yahoofinance.com. And we appreciate their sponsorship. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. We do have, and I guess I will start the rumor and perpetuate it. We have lined up Gary Gilmore from Coastal Carolina Baseball. He will join us to preview the Cajuns and Coastal Carolina. That will be on Friday's episode. So, allegedly, we'll see. I am starting that rumor and perpetuating it. All right, let me see. So, On Three doesn't do it by, we got to do it by teams. All right, so Arkansas State may have had a tough day. Kieran Crawford, an edge rusher, was really good. Played in a bunch of games last year, if not all of them, started all of them. And he's either expected to maybe go with Kurt Cignetti, former Coastal coach at IU, or maybe transfer to Georgia Tech. Also, Dominic Zvada, kicker, pretty good kicker. He has entered the portal as well. And it appears everybody else on this list is already in there. All right, let's check out. You know who hasn't had a lot? The Cajuns. Now, some of these teams, like South Alabama, the Cajuns, and there's some others. Like Coastal Carolina hasn't finished. This portal just opened up. They're still in the middle of spring ball. They're still in the middle. Let's see. I thought App State may have had a couple. DeAndre Dingle Prince. He looks like he's heading to Marshall, maybe, or Jacksonville State, a defensive lineman, 6'2", 253. Freshman QB Mason McHugh has decided to leave App as well. All right. It doesn't seem to be that many just yet. And again, so some of these are going to happen. You're going to get turnover. Like, I think, did Georgia State have a bunch? Georgia State's, again, just two. I mean, they just finished up spring ball. Still trying to get Del McGee on. Still doing that. Javon Dennis, edge rusher. He just entered the portal in yesterday. Mumu bin Wahed. He's a cornerback. Oh, he transferred to Georgia State. He went from Connecticut to Georgia State, and that just happened last week. All right. So again, it doesn't feel like we've had a lot of movement unless I'm missing it. Again, Coastal's in the middle of this. They're getting guys to go to Coastal. Again, it doesn't look like they lost a lot of guys just yet. Let's see, Georgia Southern doesn't appear. Seth Robertson, senior cornerback. Yeah. And that may be the end of my free access to On Three. Let me see. No, not yet. Well, maybe should do it anyways. Let's see. JMU's got a new coach, Bob Chesney, but they're still in the middle of it, right? No one's, according to On Three, nobody has really gotten in here. Wouldn't be surprised. Evan Blaylock from ULM entered the portal. Freshman safety actually went to Mobile Christian, so I would have seen him play. John Barr, freshman wide receiver, he entered it. So that's two guys on the 16th from Monroe. So again, it doesn't seem like a lot of guys are hitting the portal just yet. Let's see here. ODU, and they had a couple of guys, Charles Yates, cornerback, and Raymelo Murphy. I mean, I'm sure there's more to come here. Let's see. South Alabama. Yam Banks went to Ole Miss, so they haven't had anybody, and Colin Lacey left, but that's old news, right? Let's see. Troy, they got a new coach in Jared Parker. Ashton Messick, senior tight end. He transferred to Colorado State. All right. And Zach Edwards entered the portal on April 5th. Redshirt junior edge rusher could end up at Arkansas State or at Western Kentucky. So it hasn't seemed like a lot of guys in the Sun Belt have yet to get in there. All right. And I'm sure this all has to do, probably not with NIL, probably has to do with playing time, right? This is our depth chart. And this is where you are coming. This is where you were going into spring. This is where you are coming out of spring. A lot of guys. I mean, I'm sure some people are looking for NIL. If you're going to a Power 5 school, you are. I mean, I heard, I guess it was Matt Moscona talking about LSU going after a couple of G5 guys. Someone with ties to Louisiana, defensive tackles for LSU. I'm sure that involves NIL. But if you're transferring from G5 to G5, I'm not sure how much NIL you're going to get. I mean, 4 or 5 figures is more money than it used to be anyways, or at least legally, right? No, I'm not sure if everyone's cashing in for a couple $100,000. I think that's probably not the case. All right, let's take let's thank you for tuning in. We're continuing to grow, still trying to work out, trying to put up shorts and reels like that. Got to do a better job of that with this, along with the Schultze cast. So please subscribe to both. Appreciate that. And we will talk to you again on Wednesday. We'll wrap up the Sunbelt baseball and any other transfer portal guys that enter things on Wednesday. Still trying to line up other football coaches over the next couple of weeks. Some were very busy this week, probably with the portal and wrapping up spring ball. So hopefully we'll get more next week. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to Locked On Sunbelt. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. And we'll talk to you again on Thursday.